Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Dr. Coco's Medmonics. Today I'm going to be going over the collagen pathway, which shows up a lot as far as like a biochemical pathway that you should know. But in my opinion, all of these biochemical pathways, it's less important to know like, oh, this turns into this via this enzyme, blah, blah, blah. It's more important to understand the different parts of the pathway that if it goes wrong becomes a disease. And so this, I'm not really going to go through specifically how to memorize the pathway as much as how do you memorize the diseases involved in the pathway. And this one seems to be super high yield. So I took the picture that is from first aid, and then I went through the different parts of this pathway and put in the diseases. So first we have, you start with pre-pro collagen, and you hydroxylate it with proline and lysine, and this requires vitamin C, this step right here. And we know that vitamin C without it causes scurvy, and you get like swollen gums, bruising, petechiae, hemarthrosis, anemia, corkscrew hair. However you remember scurvy, I remember it as pirates, and that might be kind of weird. I remember pirates always had scurvy. Maybe it's because I grew up loving Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know. So I think of pirates when I think of scurvy, and then pirates are kind of like, they were dirty guys. They were like on these boats drinking rum, not really showering or anything. So I think of like pirates having lice in their hair, so they're pro lice. Okay, it's kind of dumb, but if you think that they're pro-lice, pirates are pro-lice, you can remember scurvy, and then you can remember that this is the hydroxylation of pro for proline and lice for lysine. Okay, pirates have lice in their hair, so they're pro-lice. And then we have a glycosylation step, which is literally just adding the stupid sugar, whatever, I don't care. Then we go to this pro-collagen, and that's where we form this triple helix formation. And if you have a problem making a triple helix, you get osteogenesis imperfecta, which is a COLA1, COLA2 mutation where they get multiple fractures, blue sclera, their teeth are kind of messed up, which makes sense. If your bones are messed up, your teeth will be messed up, and then conductive hearing loss because, again, their bones are messed up and you have bones in your ears that help you hear. So how do I remember this? Well, another way to remember osteogenesis imperfecta is called brittle bone syndrome. And so I think brittle bones, because it's the same disease, right? It's just two different names for it. And you break a bone when you trip. Okay? So when you trip, you'll break a bone, especially if you have this brittle bone syndrome or brittle bone disease or osteogenesis imperfecta, whatever you want to call it. And that trip is for the triple helix formation. Okay, you break a bone when you trip for triple helix formation. Okay, so then we made this triple helix right here, and then we've got like some other crap going over here with like, I don't know, proteins and Golgis and exocytosis and whatever. Okay, so now we come out of the cell and we're in the extracellular space, and then there's two diseases out here that we can think of for extracellular and two for intracellular. Okay, so the extracellular ones we have are Ehler Danlos and Menkes. So cleavage of pro-collagen in the CNT terminals is going to be Ehler Danlos, and that's going to be a problem with either your type 3 collagen, which is the vascular, or type 5 collagen, which is the joint and skin where they get like really stretchy. And I always remember when they ask questions, they're more likely going to ask you about the type 3 collagen, the vascular Ehler Danlos, because that's where you're going to have more clinical symptoms, is when it's a vascular issue versus just a skin issue. And so I think Ehler Danlos is ED3. And ED3 shows up a lot as far as a mnemonic I think of constantly. Such as like in the heart, I think of early diastole for S3, stuff like that. But if you can remember ED3 for not only heart, but here for Ehler Danlos type 3 collagen, and ED, also thinking of erectile dysfunction, cleaves the relationship in half. Okay, so think of somebody, they have really bad ED and their relationship is not going well because of it. So there's a cleavage of their relationship for this cleavage of procollagen in Ehler Danlos. ED3. ED cleaves the relationship. And last, we have formation of crosslinks stabilized by lysyl oxalase, and that's going to be Menkes disease, which is a impaired copper absorption. So then they don't have as much copper they're absorbing, and then they have it's an ATP7A deficiency, a decrease in lysyl oxalase. They end up with kinky hair. I feel like that's the thing that shows up constantly, is the kinky hair. Hypotonia, growth retardation, increased risk of cerebral aneurysms. And so I remember this as Menkes is kinky for that kinky hair. Menkes is kinky when he is on oxy. So I think it's like a guy named Menkes, which not a real name, whatever, is kinky when he's on oxy. So he's on like high on oxycodone or something, and he gets real kinky. So kinky hair. And then oxy is going to be for that lysyl oxidase that helps you form this cross-linking. Okay? And then I would definitely go back and watch the liver video I made so that you can remember the difference between Menkes and Wilson's disease as far as copper goes. And hopefully this helps you. This is just one simple pathway that I think I've gotten at least one question on every NBME I've ever done as far as pathways go. So hopefully this helps you, and if it did, please like and subscribe to my channel.